next poem is called Map Reading. And what I was saying at the start about holding on to a tune is really quite appropriate for this poem. The metaphor is using a map, finding your way through life, finding your way through a tune maybe. It gets harder perhaps as we get older to do that. So this is Map Reading. There is this old map that I carry in my head, a shape of where I am in relation to myself. It is the idea I have of walking through a song, makes an order for me in consciousness. So I hope not to lose my way. I hope not to lose Brubeck, Monk, their art of the compass. It is the cartography of thought that brings me knowingly home each night and sets me on my way each morning, delineates the lines along which I must keep going in the daily performance of who I seem to be. It is an old map, faded, frayed, but all I have. So until such time as the self that reads paths releases mind's hand, trusted navigation. But I know how the roads have changed since these marks were made. There's free-form noise and chaos on fields I thought I knew. Vanished tracks where once I used to walk. These bleached out and stained landmarks. Creases, folds, missing notes, confusing certainty. This is a poem called Elegy for Chet Baker. Chet Baker was a jazz trumpeter with a wonderful, smooth, wine-like tone. He died in somewhat mysterious circumstances by falling from a window in an Amsterdam hotel in 1988 and died on the pavement outside. His signature song is called My Funny Valentine, and here we're going to bring in Perri, Alleyne-Hughes in a moment. But first of all, the poem Elegy for Chet Baker. The warm, dark red wine flows out of the mouth. the trumpet smooth against the faces map, the cracked voice like broken stone. My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine. The trumpet whine, rich and smooth, and the kind light glows warm on the gold of the horn, smooth against the cracked stone of the broken face. Unphotographable. Europe in springtime, a new window every day. Tomorrow another town, another gig, another sidewalk. The trumpet's wine flows red, warm, out of the mouth. Stay, little Valentine, stay.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, but you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Well, don't change your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day.
This poem is a rather sad, quiet, tragic poem called Bournemouth, but it could be called Torquay, it could be called Eastbourne, it could be called any one of the seaside resorts that we go to every year during the summertime, and decide perhaps sometimes, wouldn't this be a nice place to stay and live when we come to retirement? We do that, and then things change. One of us gets left behind. Bournemouth. It's linked to a tune by the Lionel Hampton Quartet called The Nearness of You. Things took longer. Radios warming up, coal gas cooking, building a family. But aging was something they did faster, till the out-of-season town, where so much had been promised on holiday, grew still, remembering it, 3 roads from the sea. Here's where they came, young before the children, year on year, away from smoke, community, each summer, far from work, routine, and roots, in the sunshine time. This is what they wished themselves. Lionel Hampton at the Winter Gardens, their song in the 1950s. A lifetime's wave bands in a medicated room, waited by the phone, and when he called, broadcasting family news from outside the archive of her memory, it came from a strange place, this duty done, asking after her, not really wanting to know, not wanting to listen to stories told too many times, or guess why she cried when she heard the nearness of you, retrieved from the presence of his father's voice, reborn, reissuing the long-forgotten sound, begging for some sort of shared experience. Somewhere, high above and beyond coastlines, beyond the earth's curve, where transmissions grow lonely and faint, but can't die. What we were flickers on, searches in vain for receivers, sends out messages with no one at all listening, or for that matter, caring. There are some moments in popular music when it changes from being purely entertainment into something with much darker connotations, something more of a social conscience, if you like. I suppose Bob Dylan was one example of that. Some of the songs of Pete Seeger also. But for me, there was a song that Billie Holiday recorded in 1939 that was very much about that. It was actually inspired by some of the lynchings that took place in the southern states of America in the 1930s, and it was called Strange Fruit. We're going to bring back Perri Alleyne-Hughes in a moment to sing that famous dark song. But first of all, a poem, I suppose, about the loss of musical innocence, Homecoming. Shades of silence, and the ear asks questions the mind can't answer. Taking a turn, filling a temporal frame, something anonymous that now has a name is reading the mirror. A face returning once again to a place where the truth was first shared out when curating gardens a child was planted in. This is where I first heard Billy, Strange Fruit, and a stillness in me, dumbing the innocent centre, biting the apple to enter other rooms, now placing conscience here in its previous absence.
Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, clean and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here is a strange and bitter cry.
Well, thank you for joining us for our jazz cabaret. We're going to finish with a poem called Radio Dante 3 a.m. This is about that moment around about 3 o'clock in the morning. You must have had it when you wake up and all the problems that seemed quite small during the day assume a new significance. The dark night of the soul, if you like. That's when Radio Dante kicks in. Although I must have been sleeping, the dream unearthed nights on end awake, radio lisping out its usual tinnitus and a sour taste in my mouth. Despairing to pass the time, I visited the dead in their lounges, full of brocade, velvet chairs, listening to their cool dinner jazz. But I couldn't quite take in what they said. Someone stroked my hair, and then I noticed how my IKEA skin started to peel, and underneath it was a hopeless dark. Everything that can't be undone was there. You must realize by now you can't take it back, but taste it. It's why we built this place after all, just for the sheer hell of it. I've been there so many times before when I had thought I slept, meeting myself where traffic film and career pollution made up ambition. So I should have guessed, but I couldn't hear, take in what they said. Although I know for a fact someone gave me the gift of a luminous music. Time to rest again. I can feel my eyes heavy. There's white noise from the early show.
glass of Southern Comfort, Grand Marnier or JD, and you got a Louisiana Christmas every time.